Welcome to Groove 106 FM television, and I'm here broadcasting from Fargo, North Dakota. And in a little bit, we'll be live in Grand Gedeh through the Flash FM. And I will have today, my guest will be Bernard Barfor, a member of the Gongloe for President. Also, we have the media consultant for Team Gongloe Strategic Media Committee, Mr. Joe Batua. Unfortunately, Mr. Cllr Yurukla will not appear today because Mr. Zoe Penner is in America and he is with Mr. Zoe Penner, Senator Zoe Penner right now, so he will not be able to join us. But let me play you a song and I will be right back. Stay tuned. All right, let me see what am I doing here. Okay. All right. Just put this. Yes, let me copy and send it to you. Let me send it to you.
Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name.
You tell me, say make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle working God. You make the blind man to see. You made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee. You make impossible possible.
Kama truki mama Unezinu no mugane toyo Matana chiani dima Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday. Then to the studio on Wednesday. I walk it out till Thursday morning. I be chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on Saturday. You ask me what my best day is. It's when I praise you on Sunday morning. I got my truck in my mind. Unezinu na mugane toyo. Makana chiani dima. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be thy name.
Okay, welcome again. My name is Gibson Jiro. We will be going live shortly in Gedeh County, but today we have several issues to discuss. One of the issues to discuss has to do with the election magistrate. Is it a magistrate? Magistrate who got missing in, thank you very much, Bernard Bafo. Welcome, Bernard Bafo. The election magistrate who got missing in Gedeh County. It looks like we have suspects. We have suspects. The brother of the guy who got missing, Afred Donner, who was allegedly kidnapped or killed, whose body has not been found. The county attorney in Zwedru has indicted the brother and others for allegedly being responsible for the kidnapping and criminal conspiracy that led to the disappearance of Afred Donner. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. And we'll be talking about Councillor Tiawan Saye Gongloe has been finally or officially elected as Standardbearer of the Liberian People's Party. We'll be talking about that. We have a member of the Gongloe group. The Team Gongloe Global will be here. Team Gongloe North America will be here. Bernard Bafo is going to be here to discuss with us shortly. We're also going to be discussing the ripple effect of the resignation of those government officials. What does it mean? Is it a plus for them, or is it a negative for them, or is it a plus for President George Weah? What does it mean for the government of Liberia if those three government officials resign? Does it mean that they are mustering the courage to keep themselves clean, or are they disappointed in the George Weah administration or whatever? We'll be discussing that shortly as well. We will also be discussing other issues that have to do with our common patrimony, Liberia, which all of you are very much akin to seeing prosper. So let's go straight to Bernard Bafo. Bernard, I don't know, Bernard, are you on? Can you put your video on for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my video on. Just one moment. Let me find a suitable.
Okay, so Bernard is going to be coming on. We are expecting Mr. Joe Batua. Mr. Joe Batua is the consultant for the Gongloe Strategic Media Committee. Joe is going to be here to give us analysis about Tiawan Gongloe's election. We're also going to recount about the refusal of the George Weah government to give the money that Nancy Doe won against the Liberian government. She won an $18 million from the ECOWAS Court as benefit or presidential emolument or presidential benefit for the late President Doe, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Whether dead or alive, the President of the Republic has an emolument or benefit that goes to the family, even if dead. Okay, the government of George Weah refused to give that money. Nanacy Doe sued at the ECOWAS Court, but he still said you can't get the money. There are other properties also that President Weah is in, and his advisor, Achiebard Bernard, are currently encroaching. Some of those properties are encroaching on, and they are refusing to give those properties to Nanacy Doe. One of those properties includes the Vamuma House property, which Nanacy Doe has been thinking about, fighting to get. But first of all, before let me bring Bernard on. Welcome, Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Jiro. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
I want you to stay just like that. Don't change your attitude. It's gonna be like this, and I want your listeners to know it's Friday, so we're pushing the last hour. You know. I can see that. You're pushing the last hour. I can see that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's what it is.
No. Hour, so I don't know if I can pay for the hours you're going to lose for today.
No, you know, once it was about Gongloe, nobody needs to pay for anything. You know, nobody needs to pay.
All right.
We come ready.
Thank you, Bernard. Let me also, Bernard, I will just have you there a little bit. Let me read a story that you might be surprised. Let me see if I can put this story on the screen here for all of us. Okay, those of you who are watching, you see a story, a legal document on the screen. It is a court document coming from the county attorney of the Republic of Liberia. They have indicted Mr. I don't know what's his name. I don't see the name clearly yet. But there are four or three people have been indicted for the disappearance of Mr. Bonner. Mr. Bonner was an election commissioner magistrate. I'm sorry, guys. Was election commission magistrate, and he got missed. He went missing some time ago. Let me wear my Jeremiah Donner, Christopher Kuhlman, Mon Selivani, George Weah, Reverend Bill Donner, and Maureen B. Bourne. All of these people will tell us to be a have been indicted in Liberia. And the issue has to do with Mr. Bonner getting missing, Afred Donner, who got missing some time ago, disappeared some time ago in Bronx. So let me read a little bit about that, and let's see what exactly that they indicted these people for. According to the indictment from the grand jury of Gedeh County, the special grand jury for the county of Gedeh, Republic of Liberia, upon their oath to hereby find more probable than not that defendant Jeremiah Donner, Christopher Kuhlman, Mao Selivani, Bo C. Breeze, Reverend Bill Donner, the brother of Afred Donner, and Maureen B. Bourne, in order to be identified, did commit the crime of kidnapping, a felony of the first degree, to wit. Count one says that on Monday, May the 2nd, 2022, and during the intervening hours of 6:00 p.m. Liberian time and thereabout, defendant Jeremiah Donner and Christopher Kuhlman After Afred Donner, the victim, took Afred Donner to Joasson village near Zwedru, Gedeh County, purportedly for herbal treatment, country medicine, herbal treatment of the victim, who was critically able to co-defendant on Selbani. That following number two says that following their arrival at the premises of co-defendant Selbani and the herbalist, who promised to do her best to keep the victim of his illness, and were accommodated in one of the rooms of co-defendant Selbani. Number 3 says that during the middle of the night, same being the May 3rd, 2022, defendant Selbani and Seabridge were awake from sleep after hearing noise in the room where co-defendant Afred Donner and Kuhlman, along with the victim, were sleeping, and noticed co-defendant Donner and Kuhlman physically restraining, that's Bill Donner, restraining Afred Donner, the victim, who they co-defendant Donner and Kuhlman claim was damaging his own laptop, and the co-defendant Selbani advised them to leave the victim alone. Number 4, that during the morning hours of the Bill Donner, that brother of Afred Donner, and told the herbalist, defendant Selbani and Seabreeze, that Donner, the victim, had escaped into the near bushes and they went looking for him, but nowhere to be found. The victim, Afred Donner, fell sick in the month of April 2022, and his fiancée and other relatives were advised that the victim illness required contradiction healer, thereby co-defendant Bill Donner and Conan, the victim's brother and in-law, respectively, were told to accompany the victim to Joasson village to the herbalist. Now, defendant slavery. Let me bring in Bernard here. Bernard is also from Gedeh, and Bernard, we all been wondering. Alfred Donner was missing some time ago, and we didn't know exactly who the panel. They had accused Chester Grant, they accused the superintendent of Gedeh County, that they were responsible for the disappearance of Afred. But now the brother of the man who got missing, the friend, and two other people have been indicted by the government of Liberia for kidnapping and criminal conspiracy. What do you think?
Well, Gibson, the disadvantage to you and I hearing this information is we are here in America, and we do not know exactly what's unfolding there. So we go with the news that we get, and this is a legal matter. I know I'm from Conemo. I am from the Conemo Statutory District, so I know the Donner family. I know Afred Donner personally. I know him. I even know Reverend Bill Donner. He's a very good man. Only the Jeremiah Donner man I have not met, but they are, as the case is unfolding, I say you a legal minded man. People say the legal minded people, they say if somebody is accused, they have to be proven guilty before you run your decision. Innocent until proven guilty. And so for me, that's what I will leave on this case. As long they are investigating and people are being indicted, gradually the case will unfold and we'll know actually what's happening. But for me, it's a surprise, to hear that, Reverend Bill Donner and Jeremiah Donner, the immediate relative to Afred Donner, are indicted, So we want to know, why are they indicted? To why extent are they involved into his getting missing? Everybody looking for answer. We are looking for answer.
My understanding of the justice system, even though it may not be 100% in Liberia, before the county attorney indict you, there must have been some interview from the police or the office of the county attorney before they can tell the grand jury to indict you. This is troubling, especially when the whole of Grand Gedeh, as a matter of fact, we are live in Zredru right now. We are live in Grand Gedeh. The whole of Grand Gedeh, Zredru, everybody was demonstrating, protesting, accusing the superintendent, the senator, the representative. This speaks to how much we rush to judgment before we know the facts, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and Julia said, like, here in the United States, we don't, rush to judgment. We wait, because there's something that we call, allegations, and they need to be proven, by clear facts, and investigation happen. And when you see the police arrest somebody here and they say they are prime suspect, in fact, when you are a suspect, there are several categories of being suspect, and they will investigate. When they say this person is indicted, they are very serious about it. Apparently, they have some sort of facts that link them to the case, or maybe they indict them, and based on the investigation, they will hire their lawyers as well and prove themselves innocent. And we have to wait and see. Also, the reason people have questioned about justice system in our country is that's the key thing. It is important for justice to be fair in places, but when you look at places like Liberia, where people cut corners or maybe sometimes indict people, and then at the end of the day there's no result, that's when you and I will sit here in the United States and then kind of look at their justice, their judicial system, and then question as to what level of fact do they have. Are they doing the job based on the actual truth, or they are trying to, accuse somebody else. It is important. And if I just want to kind of link it with I know we have not gotten there yet. This is why it is important when Councillor Gongloe on one of his 10-point plan, he said, that is why it is important, because nobody will question your judicial system if your judicial system is fair. In the United States, nobody will question anybody. Gibson, if somebody says Bernard Baffa is indicted, everybody will wait and look, and you will know that it is serious, because they will not just come to your house in the morning and indict you. There must be a grand jury investigation. The grand jury will have to vote and say there is clear evidence that this person can be indicted. We question these things in Africa, especially Liberia, because they don't understand how these things are very important around the world and in the international community. So that is why I say I'm a little bit surprised that the Donner family are indicted. And so for me, I will caution anybody that have a mind made up, don't make up your mind. Let the justice system play out. Let's pay attention and see what's going on. So that would be my opinion on this matter, Mr.
I agree with you with the justice system. The accused are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty in the court of competent jurisdiction. But before I leave this thing, because people in Grand Gedeh are listening, what could be the reason why they could have accused Representative Chester Grant, Senator Joe Peno, Superintendent Kai Fale? What could have been the reason why they have the guts to accuse them? Is it because they didn't take action on time, or what you think could have been the reason for that?
Well, it could be a combination of a lot of factors. And again, like I said, everything we hear from here is based on what people say, is based on other people's opinion, and it is not fact. This is what we hear. We heard that Afred Donner is a very young man. He was election magistrate. That's a very big responsibility, especially given the competitiveness of our election these days and the political parties. And we hear that, I don't know whether this is true. We heard that this gone election that brought Representative Madam Doe to power. There was a little, and again, Gibson, you being a legal minded man, this is not factual. This is what people said. That he have a little confrontation with officials from the CDC who at the end of the day were trying to encourage him to take bribes in order to and nobody know how factual these things are until they are proven. And again, I'm speaking with absolute caution.
That you will see what will happen, something like that. And because so it was a good ground for people to accuse you if you threaten someone and the person go missing.
Threaten somebody, And if that was me, and if I'm threatened, I will automatically complain you, so that you are using your power to threaten. But we didn't see none of that happen. But and that's what we hear. And then during the investigation, we also heard that the leaders in the county were dragging their feet. Turned out probably not, because I can see now that the county attorney is indicting people. So obviously there will be investigation done. Probably people who were talking did not really know. And like I said, all of this was based on what you hear on the internet, what you hear families saying. There are a lot of sentiments to this thing. It is heartbroken, to be honest with you, for a young man like this to be missing. For whatever reason, this is not cool. It is not good. For people to get lost based on their political opinion or based on their job responsibility. Especially this is young guy that every one of us we know. I'm a Konemo. I speak Konemo. I'm from Konemo district. Then I see a young man of my age group, taking a huge responsibility, get a little good job, and then he gets missing because of his job. These things does not reflect well on our county. It does not reflect well on our politics. So I would say everything we heard was just rumors. We heard it like it is, and we talk it like it is. But when the legal activity become to unfold, then we wait and see what we're going to get from there. So I would just ask people to be cautious, and then we must not spread news like that. We will kind of put ourselves into this problem.
I can agree with you. I just want to say for all the Grangians listening, there were some Grangians in Fargo, North Dakota, that wanted to go to the Grand Gedeh Convention to ask the Grand Gedeh Convention, Grand Gedeh leadership, association leadership, to condemn those officials and call on the government to indict them. And I just told them, why don't we just give the process a chance? But let me go one more step. I was in the Southeastern journalist chat room. The journalists in the Southeast, they have a chat room. And I was asking, so are the journalists really investigating? I heard some journalists broadcasting and writing and said they say. And up to now, no journalist in Liberia, in Grand Gedeh County, was able to crack this story. I mean, how can we be journalists in Zredru and nobody was able to crack this story to give you need?
Yeah, because they don't know they investigate. Gibson, Mr. Giroux, here we have investigative journalists. That's their training. They go to some level of high sophisticated training to understand how to investigate, to keep their bias to themselves and follow the fact where it leads. They go to government offices and ask relevant questions, confront the authority that be, and seek answers. Probably they don't know how to do that. Probably they don't know how to follow up. Probably they let their bias get get involved, and they do not know how to distinguish. Yeah, in their way, they do not know how to distinguish fact from lies, and then everything just get entangled. Or maybe because they are related and they know the person, and then they don't want to be fair. That's how you start hearing this news. That's how you start hearing people's names. But now that we are seeing the people get indicted, and the case will now start in the court. Those that were indicted will hire their lawyers. Relevant questions will be asked, and then they have to. Then we will even more information will come. At the end of the day, somebody will talk. All we need is let somebody actually speak up and talk. And that will help the process. So let us just wait, like you said. Let's wait and see how the case plays out.
What's up? Okay. Okay, Brother Joe Batwa, I'll send you the link to your WhatsApp. You can just go to your WhatsApp and come on. So, okay, let's just say I want to talk to all the people in Grand Gedeh while Bernard is here, and he's from Grand Gedeh too. There's a process for this case. We don't want you to now go to everybody's house and start accusing them that they're wrong, they're right, and stuff like that. Because there's a process. Everyone who is accused in the Republic of Liberia is innocent until the court can judge them and say, you are wrong. Okay? So don't go to this poor house and home and start giving them problems and start accusing them and making trouble with them. The first thing they need to do after the indictment, they charge them today. They're going to take them to court, and the judge is going to ask them, are you guilty of the allegation against you? They say you are responsible for your brother getting missing, or your friend getting missing, your cousin getting missing. Are you responsible? They can either say, yes, we are responsible. In our case, the government got no issues. The government can go ahead and propose what kind of penalty. If they say, no, we are not responsible, it means they are challenging the charges that the government levy on them. Oh, 1 minute, guys. Hey, Brother Batwa. Okay. Okay, let me send it to your email.
No, I got the then I used it on the laptop, and I was told that you're supposed to allow me in.
Oh yeah, I see you here. Just click to do how do you call it? Come on board. Just click the on screen something, and I will see you. Okay, so we want to say that Afred Donner there. Comme là où ben nyewe mwe. SNN ou loin SMO. So akribi akon ai kaite ase kon a obibo mo be ya weche. Nye boke clean on te kotie kanu dem blanc ti atan no nyon ou loin with Africa or mark like you or so abo and then better you want to say that in your dialect?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm able to say in Konemo. Did you just speak Baza? Which one you were speaking?
I was speaking Baza right now, Gabo. Let me see if you can speak Konemo. Try, let me see.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, try.
I'm a you akogi. They are one in a ponya program on your name to your Gionela, your Yoko Nuo. Wap on your koti, ye, or the Quatupo koti, yon wele. Do koti, your more koti, or ye, you zizai, ye no zizai, or Kuyala, demon, nue, kodi, a yet in Nueki, yo, ye no, in a mola, de moada, and in Woko de Codon, no, ye, your bidder, ye was zizai. Ye nyo kiko play nyola demo nwe yo kotiala ka nwe yo play nyo jiyoto ye ka kotida nyo nuo demo etio ye kiri na mosre bo na mojiyato na mocha ye yanwa ye nyo nwe ye ba kreba ya nyinawo ti awon ka nyoni toro nyo jiko ya o nyo moni da nyo anyi da demo ke ula nuo wala kuyala de kenu kiti akromo ye kuya me o me za lo ko ti mro ye gba kle bo trate o nyinawo si o e koda na ko ya ka fe yo. At least that's what it is, right?
I don't even know why you said try. You can do the thing. You know that.
I don't know.
That's the well, because we wanted people in Grand Jeddah to understand us from different perspectives. The issue here, we are not running to a conclusion. Some of you jumped in the street before and accused Zopeno, Chesia Grand, the superintendent, that they were responsible for Afred Donner without waiting for the system to work. Now that the government lawyers, the government prosecutor have already indicted people, don't go rushing into another conclusion again, yeah, they are guilty. So we always need to wait until we see something, we see the government taking action. So the fact that government did not accuse people right away or arrest people right away does not mean they will not do it. That's why I said the other day, nobody's supposed to rush into action and accuse government official just because you don't like the government official, just because you feel the government official is an opponent of the person you like. So all of you were wrong at the time, and you will still be wrong if you jump into another conclusion again. So we want you to stop there. Let me come to let me play on music and bring Honorable Batwa in because he has problem coming in. So let me go to Brother Batwa. Those of you who are old like me, you will like the music. Yeah. And okay, welcome back, and let me bring on. I've been back. Welcome. We are waiting for Joe to come on, but the reason I wanted Joe to be here, we are at it. This has to do with Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. He was elected this morning in Bong County to serve as Standardbearer for the Liberian People's Party. How did you greet the news?
With immense excitement. I was very elated when I heard that finally he is officially the candidate for president on the banners of the Liberian People's Party. That's a reputable party. I believe it was established by Dr. Amos Sawyer. You know, I was not of age when these things were happening during the political era in Liberia. I grew up in the Ivory Coast, so I was very elated, and now we can legitimately say that we are in the game. First, it was aspiration. Now it is for real.
He's a candidate now. He's a Standardbearer.
He's a candidate now.
So yeah. So
and there's a new sheriff in town.
But I mean, the question was, what does it mean? I mean, he becomes a candidate. All right, anybody can become a candidate, but what does it mean for the future of Liberia, just in case Councillor Gongloe was elected president? What will it mean for Liberia?
It will mean a whole lot. Listen, Gibson, even the fact that, you know, when you sit with Councillor Gongloe and you listen to him, he is an unconventional candidate. In fact, he is selfless to the extent that he said he's not doing it because of himself. He removed himself from the picture. And he said if there's somebody who has the same aspiration, the desire he has for Liberia, he will rather take a backseat to that person. So it will be a very good thing for Liberia, because I know when I talk to him, there are a lot of things he wants to do for Liberia. You know, he's a legal man, he's a counselor, right? We all know. He said, if I become a president, I will institute the rule of law. I will make sure that the judiciary system will be independent of the other two branches of government. You know, we have the legislative branch, we have the executive branch, and we have the judiciary branch. In the case of Liberia, these branches of government are not independent of each other. Thereby, they collude. Yes. If you can see, Liberia has never successfully prosecuted a corrupt person. Why is that? Because something has to give. People know things are going on, and nobody want to indict somebody. You know, so he said these branches of government will have to be independent of each other, especially the judiciary branch. He said the corruption is through the roof because the judiciary branch is not independent of the executive branch. The executive branch is not independent of the legislative branch.
Right.
And the three of them have to be check and balancing on each other. They are not. He said, I will institute good governance. Everybody's job responsibility will be executed, and there will be accountability. Officials of government will be evaluated. Gibson, we live in the United States. When you work for a company, every 3 to 6 months, and they do job evaluation. When you are not performing, they get rid of you. I mean, even in the U.S. government, we see every time you will see, oh, this other secretary is not working anymore. During Obama time, how many people have to be replaced? Not because they did wrong, but there are certain performance criteria they look for. Yes. It is not in you. Councillor Gongloe is saying you're not going to be there. If you are performing well, nobody will bother you. He said there will be accountability. Your action will be accounted for. If I drive in the city of Des Moines, I can see the reflection of the city mayor of Des Moines through the streets that I drive on, through the environment, the grass that I cut, the parks, the recreation, the activities that are happening, the businesses that come in the city. How do I, see that a finance minister is working in Liberia when I see a woman with a tray and a son on her back working at the edge of a pavement, and it's raining and she's almost sliding. Everybody is hungry, and you call yourself. Let's see the reflection of your job responsibility through the livelihood of your population. Accountability. He said there will be we will be held accountable for our decision. Nobody will just come and because you are this person and you arrest another person and ask them to be flogged. You got to be held accountable.
You got to be held accountable.
He said there will be quality education. So I'm naming this thing because you asked the question what that Liberia will be like. I'm just giving you the picture of that Liberia, Gibson. He said there will be quality education. Do you know that people cut corners in schools, bribing teachers? Teachers are not teaching adequately. Ghanaian children are performing better than Liberian kids on the same exam. People taking shortcuts, they cannot actually sit for an exam and pass. There will be better health access, youth empowerment. You find youth lingering. In fact, many a time they will say the crime rate is attributed to the youth. Why is that? There's a question. If you do sociology, something must be happening to them. If they are unemployed, what do you think they were going to do? There will be human rights protection.
No
human rights protection. No youth program. Nothing. Human rights protection.
Let me put you a little bit. Somebody may say, well, I know George Weah did not promise anything, but he said he promised change for hope. George Weah got master's degree. Councillor Gongloe is educated. What makes him different from George Weah? Why do you think he's different from George Weah?
Don't compare a stream with an ocean, or maybe don't compare a little stream with a river. Listen, I don't want to be disrespectful of the sitting president of the Republic of Liberia. I believe he's educated. He had a master's degree, but you know, this new Liberia that we are yearning for require people with the caliber that Councillor Gongloe has. Councillor Gongloe, you will see, he work in government, vast experience in government. He's a professor, teaches law. His first training is in economics. He understands the need for Liberian businesses. He said, Liberian business development is one of the things on his platform. He understands, you know, the role of agriculture, you know, in an economy. And I want people to pay attention. This old man is knowledgeable. He wants a better Liberia that works for everybody, not just the few who found themselves privileged to be in government. And in fact, he said he wants to make millionaire outside government. That means in the private sector. Look around. Foreigners are taking the business opportunity away from Liberians, and Liberians are not competing in their own country. So if you ask me what is the difference between President Weah and Councillor Gongloe, here's the difference. When President Weah was doing his inaugural, when he was making his inaugural address, he said Liberians will not be spectators in their own economy. But actually, right now, Liberians are spectators. They are even more than that. They are cheering. Yeah, they are cheering squad. They're sitting on the sideline when these Lebanese people are getting the contracts. Then they will come and accuse Liberia and say, well, you don't have the mechanism, you don't have the material or the expertise. Why you cannot develop the expertise for Liberians to have? I live in Ivory Coast. I grew in Cote d'Ivoire. I don't know where you spend your refugee life, big brother, but listen, in Ivory Coast, the Ivorian refuse for Liberians to work.
Yes.
They say Ivorian first, Ivarianite, if you know what it means. Ivorians first. In fact, they were threatening to even teach our Liberian school system, to teach our English, math, and sciences.
Yes.
Is the United Nations and ADRA that said, no, no, no. The Liberian school system is different. We got to use Liberian refugee teachers to teach their own people. Other than that, the Ivorians were ready to cover all of these. Look, we don't have any. Yeah. Yes. So you go to Liberia and you see, I went to Freeport. I don't know Monrovia. My first time going there was 2020. I don't know. And I see on the sample the Fuani brothers. Where are the Cassidy brothers? You know, where are the Momo brothers? And you want to tell me Liberia will not be? Yes, I see Pakistani and Indian names. You know, so you have a thing. And Councillor Gongloe is saying to hell with all that. If you are Liberian and you're listening to me and you're in Gedeh County, the road between Tapeta and Zredru is paved. So I mean, well, I know we are not there yet, but I'm just giving you the outlay of the land. That when Councillor Gongloe takes the helm of the presidency, you will know what exactly he will do.
Let's listen to Councillor Gongloe when he was accepting the nomination.
Correct.
There will be ballots out there to represent. What happened here today? Purposes.
Okay. I am having a little bit of problem sharing this, but okay, good. It's on it.
There will be no competition. And so we know that we won. To the memory of Dr. Joseph Saye Gongloe, gratitude to you, done to all with a high degree of integrity. Today, you have directed me to go forward to tell the Liberian people that a better Liberia is possible if we collectively fight the high level of corruption that exists in the governance of Liberia. We want to save enough money to improve our health system, educational system, reduce food insecurity, improve our infrastructure, increase our use of technology, and tap on our great energy potential in order moves from being an energy-dependent country to a productive partner that gives you the capacity of West Africa.
Bernard, I want you to come back on, and I want us to look at a statement he used that if with corruption stops improvement, stops technology, stop paying employees on time, start economic growth. I mean, what is he trying to say?
Look, if a country is corrupt, and we all know, if you, I was privileged when I was doing my bachelor level, and we did a course on corruption. And Gibson, I want to be honest with you, and it was.
I think you are muted.
So if a country is corrupt, you do see it vividly. Gibson, Councillor Gongloe said that corruption is at the top in Liberia. So in other words, if you were a president in Liberia and I was your finance minister, how will money get missing, or how will something happen down the line if you don't know and I don't know? Let's just take the case in point where a minister of state, something we call White House chief of staff here, the people say he's corrupt, and then you come on, you say either two things happening with you as a president: either you are inept and incompetence, that's why you don't know, or it is actually you. It is actually you who are corrupt, and the international community found it completely embarrassing to say you are corrupt. It will create economic chaos. It will create riot.
Somebody may argue and say about the U.S. Treasury Department did not name George Weah. Why you want to include George Weah? These are people who really don't understand the language spoken, who do not understand diplomacy. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand, what are you giving? Are you going to throw Liberia's economy or the Liberian, peaceful life in chaos in exchange to disgrace a president to prove a point? You don't. I think America will make a calculation now to do that. Imagine if they say George Weah was corrupt. How many riots you are going to see in Monrovia? Yes.
You're going to unseat his government immediately. So for the safety of the people, you're going to make a good decision to say every one of them around there are corrupt. Let's start with the top. Just somebody who is very close. So that message was already being sent to him. We understand that we in the international world understand that Liberian over there with limited understanding of these things, or intentionally, obliviate themselves from seeing the truth, would think that the president is not corrupt. So Councillor Gongloe said it clear. He said President Weah is corrupt, and he named, things that prove that the man is corrupt. That's what he said. And when you look at the logic, it actually makes sense. So he's saying that when a country is corrupt, how do you attract businesses when you are corrupt? You see, Gibson, businesses do what we call investment research. That's what investors do before business move and migrate to a country to establish. They will do investment research. They will want to know, is it feasible? They do what they call SWOT analysis. They look at the strength, the weakness of a country, or they look at the strength that they will have if they invest in that economy. When you have a judicial system that is not stable, you don't have better contract laws. Corruption is all over in your culture. In fact, it's not frowned upon. It's actually cherished. They will jump over you and go to a country like Botswana. They go to Rwanda, a country that they kill each other. Even their war was more bitter than the Liberian conflict. But they try to transform themselves and prove to the international community that we are better off. Now they're facing Volkswagen. They're making cell phone. They're making tablet. Actually, Microsoft, them have office in a landlocked country that is not even flat, a mountainous landlocked country. We Liberians speak English. Why these customer service companies, Gibson, how when you buy something here and you have to call for somebody to fix it or make an exchange. We speak good like American English. Why they are jumping over us? They're going to Bangladesh and India. Do you think Liberia were not going to? Liberia should have been the one doing the customer service jobs. But if you don't have, Councillor Gongloe is saying, you cannot have a better economy when you are corrupt.
Corrupt.
When you are corrupt, you don't pay for nothing. You don't even have, look, that government is broke. How else they cannot make the system that can help the plane descend at the airport and Brussels has to put up? That's a disgrace.
Okay, that's what I was just about to talk about. I mean, I didn't want to even discuss it today because it's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
In fact, the other airline I think some African airline.
Yeah, some kind of African airline put out.
How can we have a country? Delta pull up. Air France. In Brussels, the last hope of Liberian traveling to Liberia has pulled up.
So think about it now. Guess you know
doing well.
That is the evidence. If you're looking for, maybe there are some Liberians who are intentionally going to ask, oh, show me proof that this government is corrupt. That's the proof. If you do not have the revenue to pay for, legitimate needed services to attract investors in your country, then that's corrupt. You broke. You don't have money. You understand? So now, watch this. The economy that was coming to your country by people flying directly to your country will divert to the neighboring countries. I will go through the African coast.
You're making me scared right now. Are you saying when I'm going to Liberia, I will stop to Sierra Leone and take car to go to Liberia?
Yeah, and so the taxes end in Sierra Leone. So when you buy your plane ticket, that money you pay, that 1,500, there are a lot of money that is allocated to the designated country that you will pay the airspace and all that. That money now stop in Sierra Leone. And it don't stop there. You're going to pay the Sierra Leone car, a passenger vehicle, to take you from Sierra Leone to Liberia. You're still going to pay the Sierra Leone. You're going to pay their local. Now you're giving, imagine how many thousands of people traveling to Liberia. They will not transit either in Guinea, in Ivory Coast, or Sierra Leone. Now we got to take the US dollar and even make their local transportation businesses that were nowhere to be. Boom. You understand? They will take us to the edge of the border.
Man,
you see?
You scared the crap out of me.
If you call yourself a finance minister out there, if you call yourself a policy genius, and you out there and you talking to people like me, I look you through the eyes and I say it's facade. It means nothing. That's baloney. You don't know what you're doing. Either you know what you're doing and you deliberately don't have the revenue to pay for it, and because you don't have the revenue, because you're not taking accountability. And Congress say accountability.
Your own brother, Jerome Ray is saying, look at this guy fooling folks like here. No airline is canceled. Go do your research before.
Okay, so I'm glad. Listen. I am not praying that an airline being canceled. All right, I'm not praying for that. Okay, I want airlines to travel to Liberia. In fact, listen, Gibson, the multiple airlines that fly to Liberia, the less the ticket will pay to go, right? Because there's a lot of competition, So when something is more, then the prices are less. We want that. Nobody's praying for evil. We want good things for Liberia, but right now, as I'm seeing it, SM Brussels said they're not flying there. Maybe something at the airport that is still not working.
In order for us to convince people like Jerome to tell them that indeed SM Brussels cancel. Madam Bafo, let me share this with you. Let me share this post with this news story with you. Okay, this one is this is the news story of SM Brussels. Those who say Liberia. SN Brussels canceled flight to Monrovia over safety concern at the Rabat
International Airport. What is safety concern?
People like Jerome Ray. Let me read it for people like Jerome Ray. It said that the deplorable state of Rabat International Airport safety measure is embarrassingly costing the country a great deal, including a sanction from the International Aviation organization. So we've already been sanctioned by the International Aviation, the people that are responsible for airports around the world. And the cancellation of the only Euro-bound flight from Liberia. A statement from SM Brussels disclosed that it is forced to cancel its flight between Brussels and Monrovia because the Rabat International Airport is suffering from certain deficiencies that do not allow them to dispatch their aircraft and have them perform
and start right there.
And lending, yes.
Don't bother yourself to read these things. This guy you see on Facebook.
Come from? Tell me where Jerome.
we call them blind loyalists who do not put country first, but seek the few grievances in a short term that benefit them, but in the long term that is there to destroy the possibility that this country comes to be at the level of the surrounding nations. You see, economy is competition. Gibson, if you and I live in an environment and we are marketing ourselves to a certain group of customers, we want to stand out. Africa is a $70 billion US economy. They are marketing themselves. Like Guinea is doing the same thing. Sierra Leone is doing the same thing. And you are Liberian standing out, you are Liberia standing out there with this great potential, and you don't know how to harvest it and market yourself. Look, on the dinner table, if you don't have nothing to offer, you become the dinner. That's what these guys don't know. They said deplorable situation. This airline, Gibson, they don't fly to Liberia on their own. They are insured by this big insurance company. When the International Aviation Organization investigate the safety measure on an international airport, and it does not meet the standard, the insurance company see that. It's like you and I, we go to an insurance company, we are insured at a low rate. Next thing we'll go for a physical check, they say you get a heart defect. The insurance company sees it and jack up your premium. That's what happened. Or they say, oh, you know what, you are not insurable. That's what they call pre-existing condition. So
let me expand this, Bafo. I mean, you really handle it superbly. But if you look at the consequences of airline coming to Monrovia with deplorable airport, the poor have insurance to pay, indemnity to pay if they have a crash, if people die, Liberians' life are in danger. Even the president himself, the president himself who travel outside the country.
No, he has his own plane. He has his own plane. So
the airport will not change because he got his own plane. He can be coming back and there's a crash, and he could
and we saw that when we were in Africa, they said there's a police director who plane crashed simply because there was no light at the port.
No light at the airport. So I mean, how can we have all the money? The people get all the money. The Minister of Finance,
they don't have the money.
They don't have money to put light at the airport.
No, that's the evidence of corruption. When you running a government, when you're running a government, you do not have the needed.
That's what Councillor Gongloe said. He said with corruption, you lack so many things because the money that's supposed to go to these things, they will go towards somebody's pocket.
Yeah. And I can give you a little example about a nation just taking care of its internal affairs. Look at Tanzania. You know the story of John Magufuli, the president. Now he's late. May so rest in peace. That guy been running for president forever. And then one of these days, the Tanzanians said, you know what? Let's give the guy a chance. The man took over. In the next 5 years, the man said, look, we're not going to take international loans. We have revenues in our country, but it's just not coming in the way it's supposed to come. First of, let's just look at the payroll. Those that told pay last month, the man went to the ministry. And the same individual is not coming to tip that ghost name. The person just take pay last month. And this time the president go and send people team to make sure everybody who work there appear and get your own paycheck. And this person is not showing up. The next month they take that. So these are just examples. And that this is revenue that just remain in the cracks. The man got rid of the ghost name in Tanzania. The man got rid of their Independence Day celebrations. The man sold a private jet. The man said, look, nobody wants a Tanzania president. What beef do we really have with international criminals? I'm not traveling with a lot of entourage. In fact, wherever we have an embassy, we don't have money. That's what they call costing, the cutting cost. That's the measure. He said when we have an embassy somewhere, the ambassador will represent Tanzania in that domain, whether it's a financial gathering. Instead of us sending a delegation from where Tanzania in the middle of Africa, going outward, spending that amount of money. Next thing they know, there were a huge amount of money to pay for services. He reinvigorated the airport in Tanzania. Tanzania Airline now is one of the sophisticated. They are happy. He did not take foreign loan. Money is in Liberia, Gibson. And when they have seen it, the potential, we are less than 5 million people with abundant natural resources. Councillor Gongloe said, we just don't have the right manager. And that manager is the president.
Right manager.
We don't have the right manager who will hold people accountable for their responsibility, for the decision they made. So that's why we are deplorable. That's why the airport is deplorable. And the word deplorable is a bad word.
Before we go to the lines, I want you to stay, and both of us will answer the lines. Okay. Before we go to the lines, I have it as one of my headlines. I am counting 3 years since Nancy Doe won the $18 million from the ECOWAS Court, which represent the benefit of President Samuel Doe. And according to the Constitution, whether the president is dead or alive, once they're no longer president, they are entitled to the benefit. The Weah government refused to give that benefit. It came from Ellen, and Weah government took over, and they refused to give the benefit. Nanacy Doe sued at the ECOWAS Court, and ECOWAS Court said, no, your own law says whether the president die or not, they are entitled to benefit. And based on a calculation, Nanacy Doe is supposed to reap $18 million. George Weah has refused up to present to give Nanacy Doe $5. He has completely refused. I mean, this is the 3rd year since 2019. We are in 2022. He has not dispensed anything. Well, Samuel Doe's son. He said the son of Grand Gedeh. Samuel Doe's son. We're talking about Samuel Doe widow. What's happening?
Yeah. Gibson, I mean, for me, I don't know whether I must reserve comment on this or just say something that is saddening. Look, no matter how we look at Liberian politics, let's look at the good and the bad, and let's talk about when it comes to Samuel Doe and with respect to George Weah, let's look at the good. We Grangidian. I mean, I've never met Samuel Doe before. I have never met Madam Nancy Doe before. I've seen Gion Doe in some places here in America. But with what we know, George Weah prominence for some reason, Doe lost put according to people. They used to put them in his drop-top car, drive them. He used to play. In fact, the law for that sport is because the president himself got involved into the sporting activity himself. He played football with them. They used to practice behind the executive mansion. It's from there, international media come to Liberia, and then this player was sparked. And his career took off. Nobody took away his talent. You can have talent all you want, but somebody has to promote that talent for you to be relevant.
People in Liberia that have talent anywhere.
And right now they are not anywhere. And I know probably maybe people will say, well, the country does not have money to pay that amount of money at one lump sum, but that is why it's called legal system. You can come to an agreement and say, well, madam, you won this case, but government is a continuation. I met this case and I took over. This is what my administration is willing to be paying, and for now we'll be giving you this. But to just outrightly say we're not going to do it, and abusing your own constitution, the laws on your own books, you have to go to an ECOWAS court, and then George Weah should be the first person who should even knock on the woman's door and say, listen, you are entitled to this. Without with no argument. So that tells you if you are agree. I mean, I'm not saying they might hate George Weah for that, but if you are 90% vote, you are one of those people that are voting for CDC 90% of the time in Gedeh County. You got to question the logic. I mean, you might not be related to Nancy Doe, but for some reason,
that's the only link for which they vote for George Weah. George Weah is his son. So they tried to own him because of Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe's son, and he put in Samuel Doe widow through hell. Then why did you vote for him for?
They could use that money and renovate. Don't you think the woman could use that money and renovate her husband, their house, be a very good facelift? She might not live in it. Maybe she might convert it to be a clinic or a hospital, or even donate it to. Listen, that's why this campaign. And I'm only here because of Councillor Gongloe. We have to tie this thing together. Gibson, this is important. Grangidians will have to rethink their way of voting. That role from Tapeta on top this issue. You got to see the reason now to dump the CDC and look at Councillor Gongloe through a better lens or maybe a better filter. That road from Tapeta to Zredru, between the border with Gedeh County and Grand Gedeh, is about 60 miles long.
Right.
From there to Grand Gedeh County is 40 miles.
Right.
For those of us in the diaspora that are remitting money to Liberia, where it's about $350 million US every year.
Right.
Among the population by counties that live in the diaspora, Liberians and Grangidians are more. I'm giving you an economic analysis why it is economically better to link that road. If you check those of us that send money back, the Nehemiah had a higher population as the Grangidian. If you can connect that road, you know how many amount of jobs you create. If you don't looking at it from a capitalistic, perspective, as an economist, you know how many people you automatically employed without doing anything, just from the road economy. You understand? And then you are a George Weah out there, they're voting for you, or a CDC party, or maybe you are a leader of the CDC, and you go down there and you look at Grangidians suffering. It's not about Grangidians themselves. Just let's put the trap aside. But let's look at the economic benefit. And then those two counties brought us $70 billion economy, which is Ivory Coast. The trade, you just automatically create the jobs. Out of here, I can get a farmland. I'm not going to have an obstacle to drive to my farmland. Increase agricultural production. That's the vision of Councillor Gongloe. He said, look, Grangidians will have to rethink their way of voting. You have to vote that government out. 6 years, that road is not paid. What else do you want? And Nanacy Doe is not getting, she's not getting her benefit that is rightfully hers. I know maybe, and you are sitting there, you are saying 90% of the time you're going to vote that government. And the road you're having a hard time going to your county, the rest of everybody is going to their county, in a better way. I know maybe statistically someone will argue and say, but Gedeh is less than 3% of Liberian population. I get it. But financially, Gedeh County is one of the economically beneficial county in the southeastern region, based on the fact that I just gave you from the remittances that we sent to Liberia. The economic corridor, local Zodri is more bigger than it is. You find a lot of Liberians have businesses in the trade between Niba County and Gedeh, and the rest of the southeastern region is booming. Just open the road. See vision to see it. Leave the population. Maybe that was your obstacle. Leave the trap if that was your obstacle. See the economic analysis. I got some friends who are from different counties that work in Gedeh. Gedeh have more money to spend. What they call, people that have the capital to spend. Businesses go to them.
Okay.
Why should we vote George Weah now?
Before we go for the phone call, I want you to respond to this comment. This is a comment from the fees. Baton Cllr said, Doe did not retire honorably, therefore he and Taylor cannot receive money. Bernard Bennett, as you, should return those property. Bernard should return those property to his wife. Achiebard Bernard. He said Achiebard Bernard, right now, he is a vassal to President Doe, President Weah, but he has Samuel Doe property in his possession. He's not giving to Nanacy Doe. He is believing that property should be turned over to Nanacy Doe, but he does not believe that Samuel Doe was retired, so he cannot get benefit. But what do you say, briefly before we go?
Well, with the last point, I'm not going to argue that because he agreed with me, but the one he said that Samuel Doe did not retire with honor, I want to know what is the definition of retirement and retiring with honor. When a man was arrested at Freeport, his hands were bound to his back and his ear was cut and he was killed in that manner. How could he have retired? You understand? He feel
the law did not say just in case you were killed, then you cannot get benefit.
You cannot be all the law did not say that if you are president and during your tenure and there was invasion of civil war in your country, therefore you must automatically retire. He feel like he was elected as president. You see the logic, the counter. I don't know how to answer the man. He was.
Right there. I can see him coming back many days. I can see him coming many days. We will now put the music and we'll go right to Gedeh to bring to take our calls. Our man is down there and he's going to do our call. Let me see.
Unega above Achiebard Jesus. Money finit Congo. Your money finit Congo. go. Your money finna 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 go. Oh yeah. Mungbayo. Ay, Baba la mufanya. La Guerrero, Baba la mufanya. La Rapeo, la Mola mufanya. La Guerrero, la Mola mufanya. La Rapeo, the Baba people coming. We'll catch you, Baba people coming. We'll catch you, nobody like you, like I do. Nobody like you, like I do. Better days ahead, you enjoy. Better days ahead, you enjoy.
Okay. Actually, the analysis of the program to make my whole mind to step. Think about one how to.
You can hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. We should be benefit of that situation. And to admit, the analysis that is give is that they didn't believe because Standard Doe is the one that knows Weah. So they consider Weah as their son.
Okay.
That's what made them to vote for Weah. And that's what made them to deny both candidates that also won the presidential position. That's what made them to show loyalty. That's what made them to die for him. And another thing that was also measured that unfortunately is the issue of the rule.
Okay.
And it is very, very frustrating. And when the first president, which is Madam Nancy Doe, in power, we said she get up. It's not our role. In fact, the rule power happened. Now that's the Liberian County. And we are together. End of the day, we have never achieved anything. The same suffering that we started on the Civil War unto present, we are still on it. So if you look at the analysis, the question is, if we are saying we love Weah, what is the benefit? What we are achieving? Where we are heading to? Is it the loyalty of those we are taking for? And we it is true that everybody in this country, if you check bring it, you will find all the traffic here. But when you enter other countries, you find bring it there, you find all the sides. All governors in the country, they are here. The battle governors, the other governors, they are all here. They are very recognized in this case. That when anybody thinks on, you know them, and you know where to place yourself so that you can have the for you have to be step and say, oh, and I know where to use from. Okay. So actually, the analysis is set up. So, to admit, we need to bring it together with us and see how those things is. And I would say that our brothers are up there, let them continue to make our parents, our brothers, our sisters to know the differences. And one of the things how to do it, people who are getting still something in their family, that the ones that are giving the majority hard time. Because I feel that if you were has to keep 10,000 money salary or 5,000 the money salary, and majority are crying and start thinking, I can be the one that can carry that money around and start something there. So actually what you're saying is the reality. What's the benefit of us? Is this that we just want to go here? What's the benefit? That's the big question. So thank you very much for the show.
Thank you so much, my brother. 0880102 0778152424. To the next question. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. Where you come from?
My name is Tiawan Saye Gongloe from Nigeria.
Welcome. Let's hear you. I found a role committee.
Oh, quiet.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the show. I want to say thank you to your studio guests who have said it all.
Mm.
You know, from 2005 CDC, we have made all shame really break news.
Okay.
You know what I mean? For somebody to pull their hair or tap it both for you, and at the end of the day, and you not get time for the person. Now they say if a person come on, should go meet for a person. So where the question for we going to meet for a person? Because CDC code, and now they get place to put up. Who they want money behind it, but they don't know about important. On 2005, we've been footing this government. People were not even careful.
Oh, we
Hello,
lost
are
her.
you there?
We lost her.
Oh, it's like a homorization. 08012027788152424 are the numbers to put you through here to this question. Really? Nia, where you call from? Quickly, that's 1 minute. I hear you. Okay. Thank you. Let's pick up another question. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Nia, where you call from?
Bill Dennis, calling for Jeffrey Community.
Bill Dennis, let's hear you.
Thank you very much. I've been monitoring the program tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, but this they got to understand exactly what is going on in our country.
Okay.
But then I have a first point. I pray that if that person is coming, maybe they will ensure into their statement so that they will understand. Yes. The meeting I was saying to President Doe in Manifesto, they called a conference on a signing of contract of the rule for Tabata to threaten the people on April 2022. Hello?
I'm getting you. Go ahead.
Yes. And since that time, we have not got anything.
Okay.
So if the person coming out of the
Thank you. Let's pick up another question. Good evening. Nia, where you call from?
I'm Charlie S. Kai calling from Disco Community.
Welcome quickly. Let's hear you.
My main question is that if that person are coming, our local authorities should keep anything.
Come on.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Nia, where you call from?
Charlie calling from my Johnson.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
Okay, thank you for your show and thank you for the analysis that you are giving. Okay, from my end, I just got funky shot to say I want the CDC-led government since 2005, 2011, 2017. I want them to come and repeat their campaign messages, the platform they have for Grand Jury. Let them come and stick the platform again and tell us on the list which one of those attempts or which of those attempts or agenda they have that have been accomplished.
Okay.
And which one has not been accomplished for what reason. And what's their next plan for Great Gedeh County.
Thank you
so me, I'm here. I'm not seeing anything visible. I wanted to come. Maybe we are blind, so we don't know. Maybe things are here, but they are invisible. So we want them to come and tell us the platform they brought here 2017, and now they are in power. Let them come and lay out those achievements that they made in Gedeh County as compared to other counties that did not go for them 98%, this percent. So I mean, the vice president is coming. These are some of the messages we want to hear. So you put us with this, this other thing, and we actively are doing more for you. So come behind us. Let us see what has been done.
Thank you so much. Let's pick up another question. Good evening.
Hello.
Where you call from? Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to see the shopping too much.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking the
all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
0880102 0778815 I keep your call coming, and I make a point. Let's hear you right here.
Okay, so why Abraham? Abraham?
Hello, are you there?
I'm mostly ready.
You call from where? Welcome, let's hear you.
Well, thank you for the plan. Like, you know, that we are the man in position. Don't look at Grand What is legislative now that you need here? The local authority have your local score, local score. Those machines they check damage. All the bad now telling them for the industry doing all the things. We can't understand nothing. Now Vice President coming where do we say? Is that a lot man well lost for that no here and there. It's what needed. The two more accountable that's different.
All right.
This authority we
Thank you.
Okay.
Another person. Good evening. Are you there? Hello?
Abraham.
Good evening.
Abraham, can you hear me? Abraham, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Abraham, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay, so hold the call a little bit. We'll go back to the line. Hold the call. I will let you know. So we'll go back to Benin Baffa. We'll go back to Benin Baffa. Benin, the reason I put the call is something that I heard right now that boiling my blood. I want to be calm, so I will put it to you. The vice president is going to Gedeh. The vice president who they have been disrespecting all along, who they refused to give her vehicle. They refused to give her.
It's a political triage. You know how we call it? That's a triage.
So they're going now. They're sending her in from to the Grandian to face it small for them because George Weah arrived there because he got no face to face the Grandians when he go there without sending somebody to smoothen it for them. Is that not what is happening?
That's a political triage that they have been doing. You know, they park her, they make her insignificant. I don't want to be involved in their political party affairs. I am not a sedition, but she was irrelevant at the time. Yeah, but now they found out that the opposition has mounted a real significant campaign. Some of their major candidates were defeated. Even in Gedeh County, the last candidate they ran for the representative seat that was vacated by Senator Penu, they were massively defeated. Gedeh now actually are voting the way they're supposed to vote. Okay, CDC is not going to stand the ground. Even the great Zopeno we're talking about today, he was persuaded to run on CDC ticket. He had ran on his own accord. He was going to win, maybe as an independent senator. So listen, I can see that Grandians are voting the right way. When the vice president comes there, she's a public official. She must be given all of the accordance and the respect and the dignity that goes with that office. But that must not confuse the Grandidian at this time. Look, listen, in the political enterprise, your vote must be equivalent to the development you're getting in exchange. That's what you must think about. From Selita to George Weah, that's 18 years. 18 years. And I want to tell Grandidian, do not overlook. People will argue with you. I just made the analysis. People will say, oh, well, you know, development goes to populated county, the Nima and Bong County. You are just less than 3% or 3% of Liberian population. But yes, here's my next argument. The remittances that come for the diaspora, Grandidian have a lion's share in it. Look in your hands. Your family send you money every time. That's purchasing power parity in economy. You that have money to buy, businesses come to you. With that bar road, see the businesses in your place. Imagine when the road was paved. So you were neglected. So we are saying, we the supporter of Councillor Gongloe. The man said, he said, you know, when you were here, we were together. I drove him around in my vehicle. He said, look at the economy between Nima County and Gedeh County. If you can just link, and he said, look, listen, Nima County must also be happy for that road because 60 miles is in Nima, 40 miles is in Gedeh. You pave that road, it will yield economic dividend. The indirect employment in terms of agriculture. Most Grandidians that I know here have farms over there in Gedeh County, but they cannot bring their produce to town. They in turn selling their cocoa and coffee, people in Nyao, to Africa Coast because they can't bring it to Monrovia. Do you see that, Gibson?
Yes, I do.
These guys live. So if you have a president who you vote for 90% at a time, even when he's not the principal candidate, you vote for him. If he is the president, even when he is defeated, you vote for him. If Grandidians were doubting their love and loyalty for George Weah, they have demonstrated that over the length of time they have voted for him. This time, they do not need to look in the mirror and hold themselves guilty to the fact that they will vote against him. Look, vote for Councillor Gongloe. In the political arena, somebody who thinks about your value, that's the person you must vote for. People will say, well, my family and my relative are working in the CDC government. So what? Is that you? Are you able to send your children to school? It is based your economic, your vote must based on your economic opportunity. Now, while your family is enjoying, you can, if you get sick, you can't go to the hospital, but your cousin is in the government. So what? What does that mean for you? If a country is in a better economic position, is everybody wins. And Councillor Gongloe, he says, based individuals outside government, when they are doing well, then that is the proof and evidence that your government is achieving. So my conclusion to all this argument is, during the last 6 years, if you are not better off now, what makes you think you'll be better off for the next, if you get an additional 6 years to these people? You'll be fooling yourself.
Then just to inject something there. If when the man still needed your vote, the man did nothing for you, how much more will you get when he no longer needs your vote? Yeah, especially in the last term. Yeah, in the last term.
The man no longer lead Grandidian because when he wins it,
he no longer
it's over.
He doesn't have to do anything for Grandidian. When he needed Grandidian to still vote for him in the second round, he didn't do anything. Then when you vote for him, he became president, then you were hoping that he would do something for you.
What's up? In fact, Lord, listen, if I can even reverse this argument, if Liberians want to get better things out of their elected officials, do one term with them. Threat them with a second term and judge them based on the first term. So if you can't do something, you don't get my vote. So if they can give George Weah one term, every subsequent, every leader that will follow will do well. Look, if you give the message here, he's not going to do nothing.
Let's go back to the phone line. Let's go back to the phone line, and we will take the last 10 minutes of phone call. So those of you who wanted to call, we just wanted to tell you that Vice President Joy Taylor Kami is nothing because they couldn't even respect her. For the last 5 years, she got nothing. They disrespected her. She did not even see George Weah in the last 2 years because Magay would not allow her to see George Weah. Now that Magay is out of the way, they try to bring Joy Taylor to us to come and sweep up Grandidians then before George Weah come. Let's go back to the line. Let me get back to the line. Okay, AB, take it from me.
Let's pick up this question. Good evening. Yeah, Wallace, welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, okay. To my surprise, this one, I heard the people from La Doe that this government went and took 20% from all their money. Well, that mission paid $1,000 support dollars. So, Sudan, Sudan, Mali, and the other places, they are waiting to keep their people for almost 5 years. They are while returning home now, they got their money. The same thing now, probably coming back here and say, you're not succeeding in ethical state. That's what they're doing now. And they say, demand that the 20% is contract, they don't want to do to the federal government do to them, and United Nations. Then, the second thing is got a larger part from people travel and that of the deep. They pass from there all the way to Standard. That week now will not have control over it. But nothing can follow that path to benefit us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hold you there and see whether we can pick up another question. Hello. Okay, this question. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, where you come from?
Yeah, my name is NSDD and I speak to you from Studio.
NSDD, welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
All the sort of there is a saying that says together we stand together. Most of the cases that we experience in James yesterday because we need to feel we are not together.
Okay.
Right now, the young people are here now. We are not coming together. So, how is the government going to come to this country? Yes, it is true that the government got their own problem. But we as the people need to get together and get on those people that you are not doing it. If you are not doing it, you are not in the position to respond to you.
Okay.
But they fail to do so. Where are we getting to this issue? The only time that we can use better food for any government that will be in power is we, the Nigerians, come together as one people.
Thank you so much. Another question. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening,
Yeah, where you come from?
Okay, my name is Liberian coming from Gedeh County District.
A very far distance. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. My brother has just said something from the United States that if the president was down there, I was second time voted in, then no need we give it. Yes. I got something that he said that they got a thing that says the city will not be good or the Christmas will not be good, you can know from the east. From the initial stage, we've been voting this particular government and we are seeing that up to this time we are not getting any development.
Okay.
My brother, we are suffering in this country.
Oh yeah.
We are suffering. If you come between going down and left down now, can't come for anybody. Or pregnant woman was putting on motorbike this evening at checking back on that symptom. That woman was putting on motorbike. That's what I have to come from Standardbearer office. Expect that woman to be to the ambulance. We are dying here slowly. People are not looking at local authorities sitting down there. I will give you a hard time around here. We are dying here slowly. Let the people see reason to come to our room. My brother, we don't want nothing for anybody. Let's go room.
Thank you. This question, good evening. Hello. Are you there? Okay, we lost this question. We'll pick up a few calls and then I will go back. This question, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Panso, quickly, let's hear you.
Thank you very much. And I also want to make a point on the record of the high prices. That is just mentioned. It is true that the budget is coming and we are going to deny Septem, which are in the country, we are following the global history of CDC. And some all we consider ourselves as citizens. But people who do that, there are some of them that the government now put down the human life or like because everybody from Gambia wants to even talk to the president. He had his own way of addressing it. At the same time, the president wants to say they have to get up. They can't go reacting to bring together to say, I need your food. He asked the GSA to get up before they voted him. All that time, he said, I go through the Thursday, the people to get up. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 0880-102-102-778-15 and the phone 24 to this person. Good evening. Hello. Nia, where you come from?
Yes, still telling you calling, but then
yeah, quickly, let's get to the issue. Your point.
Okay. Now we're just talking about the rule when the land went up. The only thing I want to if I have opportunity now to even go and even bring this document, send it to you, because but I will question the people. Say whatever, but they tell me I'm only asking now.
What kinds of document? What kinds of document are you talking about?
Let us proceed and follow a minister of time and get a company. And they didn't want to get the money. The company will do the work we beyond. So they matter they were going to let the woman that they family went for her. Family was for her. The bar for us. Came on a bar coming on the road.
Thank you.
We tired pressing people. The only thing is that all of these things talking, you didn't stay in America and be online talking. So get to us here.
Okay.
Get out here. That's the reality we'll see.
Thank you. They will come down. This question, good evening.
Good evening.
Nia, where you call from?
Yes, Saturday, the Queen of I'm calling from Antonio here.
Quickly, let's hear you 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you for the discussion. Thank you for the program. I think our priority is for us to get it all. But I don't want all to sit alone to national government may say the presidency. I also want to create our local leaders. Our legislature, for this noise to be a private legislature. In wishing. Hello?
1 minute, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your guys tonight. The analysis. But one problem I have is that, shouldn't blame on somebody and coming in with another person to say that Councilor Gongloe is the best choice. The point you can take from it is that what Councilor Gongloe has done for Virginia, we today appreciate the measure of maintenance to vote for me.
Okay.
But it's making analysis. What accepting the citizen instead of bringing another person in to tell that the person is the best? What would make us want to conclude is the best?
Thank you so much. Thank you ever so much. Let's see the question. The question down the line for long. Oh my word. Question went up the line. Let's see what else we get this question. Good evening. Hello. Nia, where you call from? Quickly, no time.
You get it?
Yeah, go ahead. You're Nikki.
Hello.
Are you there? Okay. So then get back. Then I'll get back to Mr. Getting.
Okay, so we're going to turn it off here and you go back to the live feed and let me know if you're live, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, Bernard, the last person that spoke.
Yeah, the last person.
I want you to comment on that because I don't want to comment on it. I just feel disappointed anyways.
Yeah. Let me take it from because that person, in Liberia, they look for maybe something that you do that will warrant, that will give them the justification to vote for you. Maybe I don't know what yardstick is using, but this is what I know about Councilor Gongloe. When it comes to, and this question is specific this answer is specific to Grangidian because he's a Grangidian man like myself and ask what did Councillor Gongloe do for Grangidians. So I look at it in that spectrum. He's from Nimba County, he is from Nimba County contesting the presidency. So why Grangidians must vote for him? And it's very important, Gibson, because you and I support Councillor Gongloe. We have to make it very clear for them.
Yes.
Councillor Gongloe, he does not have this tribal bone in him, given his lifestyle, because we don't see what's in the heart of the people, but the way they live their life. That's what I can tell you.
Right.
There's a true story when he was Minister of Labor. Immediately after the war, when people were distrusting, when tribes distrust each other. A deputy minister was a guy from Portstown, and I grew up in Portstown, 1989, 90. I used to be in Portstown. My father married a Bible woman by the name of Ma Mary Poor. So I know Portstown. Councillor Gongloe, immediate deputy, was from Portstown. He visited Portstown after the war. A man from Nimba County visited there. And even according to the story, the Grangidian, our brothers and sisters in Portstown, the Bible people themselves were shocked. It's just like a Grangidian leave now and go to an obscure geo town.
Yeah.
And then he was well taken care of. There where he earned the nickname Polignon. Yeah, there where he earned the nickname Polignon, because they say he was like in Polignon in Conembo or in Cllr, I mean, savior of the people. It transcends tribal bound. It transcends this ethnic city. He trusted them with his life, with his activity. Even last year, he spent Christmas and New Year in Portstown.
And his birthday.
Okay? And birthday. And let's just set that aside. Remember the time when Charles Julu was arrested by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf on the ground that she said, and I've never, and I don't know Charles Julu. I'm not old enough to know these people, but I know the story. She said they wanted to overthrow a government. He was a Solicitor General at the time. He could have used his office to appease the president and her desire and vaguely prosecute this type of case that had no legal merit. But he went to the president. Do you know what it means, why it takes for an individual to tell a sitting president and say, Madam President, you don't really have a case here. There's no evidence. And then she get upset and he said, okay, well, I'll preclude myself from this trial.
Yeah, that's
and he did not. And then somebody else went. And then at the end of the day, it turned out Charles Julu won the case. That was bogus accusation. In some African country, it's very rare. It's in fact in economy we call it an outlier. If a data shows some string, it does not have a real attachment. Commonly, it would have been like somebody will go with the trend to please an Ellen Johnson Sirleaf who has this story that is not verified, whether it is true or not, that she was being raped by these Grangidian people when they were in power. It was very easy to appease her. But the men go for the fact.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He went for the fact. And the last thing I'd like to add to that is this one is specific to us. Those are all from Conembo district. Remember, there were these Conembo guys that were arrested. I think you guys should know you were the one running around there in Monrovia looking for lawyers, and no other Liberian tribe legal-minded person were willing to represent them. And Councillor Gongloe volunteered his service to represent them and argue that when was the last time the law of Liberia prosecute somebody that they were attempting to evade a different country? Wait until that person is arrested and incarcerated in that country that you saying they are going to evade as mercenaries. Then the case begin from there. If they call Liberia and say, listen, we got Liberian here who are fighting us, then you have a case. But you don't sit and arrest your fellow citizen on the ground like, oh, they anticipate to go and fight in Ivory Coast. I don't see it before. I've never seen. Look, if you are asking questions, what has Councillor Gongloe done for Grangidian? He did not build a mansion in Gedeh County because he's not up. He did not build a road because he was not president. He did not come to build maybe a football field in Zredru for sports activities. But the man said economically it is important to build that road minus tribe plus tribe, because it is an economic opportunity to link those two counties, and those two counties, they are very adjacent to another bigger, Saharan economy like the Ivory Coast, so that people will do trade and businesses and earn income. So, and the case here is he made that case based on an economic principle, economic reasoning. He's an economist by training. Of course, he's teaching law at the university. Your CDC, the CDC government did not make that case. If they did, that road would have been paved then. They didn't. So you rather go with somebody that had the economic reasoning to say Grand Gedeh needs a road, not because they are Grand Gedeans, but because it is economically important to link Niba County and Grand Gedeh, because they are the bitter ball, the eggplant that comes from Tapeta that goes right through is from Nima. The Grand Gedeh have a lot of money to spend as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have your cocoa farm, your uncle has a cocoa. How do you sell? Now almost Grand Gedeh, and they know what I'm saying. They sell their cocoa to Ivory Coast. Why you don't take it to LP? How you call it that LPRC, right? Liberian Produce Corporation. LPMC. Why you don't sell it there? LPMC. Why you don't take it there? You taking it to La Côte d'Ivoire to go sell it. That's because you don't have roads. If this does not resonate and you're asking for tangibility of what Councillor Gongloe has done for Grand Gedeans specifically, and name a few of them, he could have locked these Grand Gedeans up and make, and accuse them, go with the flow, the tribal hatred. But the guy is not a tribal, he don't have tribal bones. He look at Liberia and look at Liberian from the general perspective that we are all citizens of the same country, and we must have abundant economic opportunity that go across the board, regardless who you are and what tribe you are from.
Before you end on that perspective, if somebody were to ask Grand Gedeh for the last 3 cycles of election, what did George Weah do for Grand Gedeh before you voted for Grand Gedeh?
Correct. What would they say? Because me, I'm living here, but I know what I would say. He did not build a road that leaving from the Ganta to Zredru. You're having a hard time getting people to the clinics and hospital. He said you guys will not be spectators to your own economy. Now you are saying Ghanaians are money they go in your county because they went to Monrovia, bribe few officials, got money licenses, and right in your own face, they're taking over your natural mineral resources like gold. You got these Burkinabes coming into the country, crossing as illegal immigrants, taking off your land. We know what that is in the Ivory Coast. The Gedeh and the Crown people that live down there, their villages were taken away from them. So I can list so many things that he has not done for you that will give you the reason to vote against them. If that does not mean anything for you, maybe you are the one doing well in this administration. You are right to go and make your own political decision. Right. But let the other Grand Gedeans who are downtrodden and who are underprivileged, who are getting hard time making ends meet, let them vote for Councillor Gongloe because he has a better idea. Let this thing, you guys might not be fooled by anybody coming out there. When they give you back or right, give it back to them. There's a story in Ghana where a politician take bags or right to go give people. They give it back to him. They say we want jobs. Take the short-term benefit out of here and give us tangible long-term opportunity. And Councillor Gongloe said he's going to make millionaires or good, Liberia will be doing well outside government in the private sector. He will privatize electricity. That's the first time I'm allowed to see government running electrical in your state where you are. That is state of South Dakota running the electrical operation. In my state, it's private company. It's called May American Energy. That's why many people don't have light over there. The government cannot do anything. The problem, government is the problem. It's not the solution. The inefficiency, incompetency, and the lack of vision and leadership, and the lack of accountability, that is all injustice in that Liberia, will all go to an end when Councillor Gongloe becomes president. Rest assured. And he understands these things. If you doubt it, ask him. Get to know him, Grand Gedean. Get beyond this thing like it's from Nima County. Should I vote for him? Try and get beyond it. We are transformed. Our livelihood suggests that in Grand Gedeh, most of you interact with different tribe people. You are already used to it. Just think about it. And the Liberian themselves, let them vote their own better candidate. They cannot get a presidency. Now they have a good candidate who is transformed, who is very much knowledgeable of the plights and the suffering of Liberian people. A very competent candidate, and they sit on their hands and they make big mouth about their population. Oh, we are overpopulated. Show that to the people. Vote for your candidate, and then we from the other side will come and help you. And those in Bong County where the convention is held, his mother is from there. Let them not be fooled. This is their own son. When you add Bong County, you get a good vote from there, and Nima County, and you get a sizable vote from Monserrato. He gonna be in the runner up. That's the mechanism.
Benen, we don't have time, but I want to remind Granji. I want to see who Ofori Dia was supporting this election, because Ofori Dia life was at risk, and Councillor Gongloe came along and fought for him. I want to see who Nisi Bawe is going to support. I want to see.
Exactly.
I want to see. I'm going to list these people and ask them questions. Those 33 Granjiden, those 27 Granjiden that were jailed, some of them 2 years, 1.5 years, and nobody to represent them. And Councillor Gongloe came along and represented some of them who were released before even jail time. I want to see who they will support. I want to see whether they will come to Granjiden and ask Granjiden to support either Councillor Gongloe or President George Weah. When in fact the Equitable Development Association in America, Standardbearer Development Association in America, wrote President Weah when he was senator and did nothing to intervene. I've been telling them over and over, Bennett, that even the Equitable people sent a letter. They said, please intervene for us. And he did nothing until he became president and he released the last 5 people. So I want to say thank you. I want to get your parting words before I can close on this note.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to our boring talk, so to say. We just want to encourage you. We have no malice against anybody. If you were a Granjiden, you support the CDC. We are not against your political preference. This time around, we are just encouraging you to rethink your voting aspect. For the last 6 years, it has not earned you any dividend. If you were looking for reasons why you voted in the exchange benefit, you got nothing. We want you to be encouraged to try some better candidates. And our candidate this time is Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. He just was recently elected and nominated to represent the Liberian People's Party. You got to think in terms of economic dividends in exchange for your vote. It is about your pocketbook, your economic welfare, and your future, the future of your children. If you make another unwise selection in this election, the slews of candidates that are going to visit your county, if you really don't think it through, the next 6 years will not be nice. And if it is not nice, it's on you. Many of you who suffering now and say things are hard, it's hard because of the last decision you made going back the last 6 years. That's because it was on you. Don't cry to nobody. In fact, we are in the diaspora. We are now understanding this. You voted the wrong way. We will now look at you to carry on your life and let the decision you made take care of you.
Absolutely.
You know what is keeping the Liberian economy afloat is the remittance, the remittances we send. $350 million US every year from the diaspora. That's why people are not complaining. If you take that out of the equation, everybody will be striking. Think about it. We will come back again. This is the best radio show to listen to at this time. Catch her again at another time. We'll be back. Thank you so much. And my name is Bernard Baffer.
Bernard Baffer, the analysis that you provide, I'm incapable of doing that. Thank you very much. And we do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so this is how we're going to end for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Mr. Cllr, you look like here tomorrow. Remember now, Zopeno is in the United States, and we're going to talk to Zopeno. We're going to try to talk to Zopeno to appear on this show. So after here, I'm going to be calling Honorable Zopeno to see if he can appear here for us to discuss the issues in Grand Gedeh. Again, you heard Bernard Baffer. Granjidens, I was talking it alone. You thought what I was saying makes no sense. But this is Bernard Baffer. This is him. And we have about 17 prominent Granjidens that I will be lining up here to tell you that George Weah gave you nothing and you gave him everything. There's nothing more for you to prove to him that you love him. You told him the first time you love him, you voted for him in 2005. You show your love 100%. In 2011, you show your love 100%. Still, he did nothing for you because At the time, he was not president, so you didn't question him. 2017, you still show your love, 100%. But after you show your love, even though he gave you nothing, before you show your love or overwhelmingly 100%, the man still gave you nothing after you show your love and you become president. This is the 5th year. Next year will be the 6th year. He has shown you nothing. He has shown you no appreciation. The man is building roads beyond Grand Gedeh. The small road that leads to Tabata, he is unable to construct that road. If you get nothing, why he still need your vote? If he did nothing for you, when he still needs your vote, what will he give you if he no longer needs your vote? That means if you vote for him to become the next president, it means he need not anybody vote. He doesn't need your vote anymore. And he's not under any pressure to do anything for you. And then we will be just as the way Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left us. At least Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, we did not feel it because we know that Ellen doesn't like us. So anything she did to us, we don't care. But how about George Weah too, for God's sake? The George Weah man who we know he didn't hate us. He loved us. That Samuel Doe's son, that Grand Gedeh's son. We did everything to please him and did nothing for us when he needed our vote still. Now you're going to give him your vote again and you expect him to do something for you? You think when the man become the president where you don't need your vote anymore, he will think about you when he still needed your vote and thought and did not think about you. He still need your vote though, but he did not think about you. But when he win the next election, he will no longer need your vote. At the time he will think about you, you better be careful, Grand Gedeh. You heard Bennett Balfour. I want to say thank you. AB, you want to say something before I close? Okay. In any case, I guess AB is dead, and thank you very much. I want to say thank you to all of you. Next time we're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here again, and we're going to have additional guests to appear here. Thank you. I want to say Gibson Jeru here. When I say bye-bye, I'm not leaving until I play you a song that I like. Okay. Let me play my man. This song is very, very good. Is one of my best. I'm talking about Brown, Tiawan Brown. Tiawan is right here. Let me see if I can find Tiawan here. Where's my video? Please don't get mad with me. Don't get mad with me. Okay, if I can't find it, let me play this one.
Everybody do the zamu. Everybody do the zamu. Kwaye kokola wa. Kwazamu ya wa kwaye kokola wa. Kwazamu ya wa kwaye kokola wa. Everybody line up, grab a partner to the zamu. Everybody line up, grab a partner to the zamu. Everybody line up, grab a partner to the zamu. Are you ready? Come on. Go left, right. Go back, left. Go back, right. That's how you do the zamu. Oh, you do the zamu. Oh, you do the zamu. Oh. Ni makasabi, kalona, kasabi, kalona, kasabi, kalona. Blare bebe sele ya blela le dindin ya gono ye menu bongundoi. Kolo le nye sele ya lango le wefata gono ye menu bongundo. Glare baby zele ya ble la le ding ding ya kono ye menu bawundo. Kolole nye zele ya lango de we for the kono ye menu bawundo. Everybody do the zamu. Let's do the zamu. Everybody do the zamu. Let's do the zamu. Somewhere's a free music, yeah. Somewhere's a free music, yeah. You can do it anywhere, 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 anywhere. Hip hop. That's how you do the zamu. Oh, you do the zamu. Oh, you do the zamu.